bracket play. They've had very limited time to work on this pivot strategy, the SEOUL Dynasty.
You know, some teams make some changes between the winner, the loser bracket, series. They typically don't take one of their better or one of the best DPSs in the league, put him on support, and then bring somebody in off the bench.
Garden is where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. Lijiangtao, one of our most legendary maps, featuring some of the most legendary moments in the league, and fitting for a clash of legendary rosters. San Francisco still on the hunt for that third championship.
Yeah, we have some good luck here for the Shock, right? We casted this matchup between them and the Dynasty a few years ago in our final. If you remember back, that was the super Roadhog era of the San Francisco Shock. Times have changed, man.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1 out of the gates, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise. It's the Shock versus the Dynasty for survival.
Yeah, and it's a TP from SEOUL Dynasty early, so you don't have to use that speed right off the rip. They can actually get position on the point first. Point not opening for a very long time, though, so see how they decide if they want to try and force the Shock inside of this small corridor.
Slow start for the Shock. They want to counter-engage by the looks of things. Holding up inside the dojo early. They identify Fitz pretty early on. He's able to slide away to safety, and Mikey overextends. The Shock make a play for the Sojourn, but Fitz is a little too slippery. I don't like Striker's chances here. He needs to walk back. The Shock have to regroup for a moment.
Oh, well, I mean, they have to run away, right? They lose Mikey. There's no way they're going to be able to touch that point first. They back up. Now they get Mikey back into the fight, so.
Proper probing here, 100 charge. Looking for an insta-kill. Bubble now being thrown down by Smurf, that needs to be removed. Suzu also deployed, Proper trying to get a bit of space, but Fitz picks him out of the sky. Smurf again gets the better of Mikey. San Francisco with 2 non-starters consecutively.
And a lot of these fights are dictated by those Sojourn, right? Can the Sojourn get in early, pick off? If they can't, then it kind of becomes a little bit of a Reaper head-to-head matchup versus the tanks. And that's a good sign, though, if you're a SEOUL Dynasty fan, right? Seeing Fitz start off hot, able to get 3 in that fight. He comes alive. He's another type of player who can take over a game.
San Francisco need to get Mikey involved here. And not on the wrong side of the kill feed, if you know what I mean. Overclock time for Fitz here has built that up pretty nicely. Here we come, Kitsune rush from Prophet. Fitz trying to play from the extremities now, and a sound barrier coming out from both sides. Another reposition from Fitz, keep an eye on those health bars. Violet sound barrier's expired, and Smurf goes for the primal rage. A lot of pressure on Prophet, there's no one there to save him. Smurf continuing to be a menace here. Not much Violet can do about it.
Just fantastic movement, man. 5 Fitz. We saw it on the point, and he actually doesn't even end up popping the overclock in that. You don't need it. You have the Kitsune rush. You're kind of exchanging support ultimates on both sides of things. He actually does a nice job kind of like baiting the shot towards him, dashes away, then able to put some damage out from the opposite side of the point. You're looking at like last fight territory here.
Already so close to the end of the round, and Fitz now with that overclock. The Shock have a lot of ultimates, but none of the support kind, and they've lost Violet already. Not the auspicious start you were looking for here. Shock is happy to expend the Death Blossom in order to get rid of his opposite number, and Mikey's out of there. It's a home run for the Dynasty, straight out the gates.
Something really interesting. So we're in the green room, we're talking about some of this, changes going on here with the SEOUL Dynasty. Custa actually mentioned that he thought that one of the reasons that it wasn't working out for SEOUL Dynasty is they actually weren't getting a ton of healing from the Kiriko. That it was actually not really a damage issue. And here at the start, Prophet putting out 3,500, almost 3,600 healing in this round.
How much damage though? Hardly any.
Hardly any damage, but over 1,000 more healing than Finn. So you started to see some of that already at the beginning, where Prophet focused a little bit more right now on healing, keeping everybody up.
Safe, conservative approach here from the Dynasty. It's paid off because the Shock have not 1 kill to their name so far. A complete and utter shutout in that first round. Some on-stage jitters perhaps for San Francisco, but they're running out of time to shake them loose, Matt.
You have really no time, right? You lose this first map, we jump right into map number 2. You find yourself down 2-0 real quick with how fast some of these games go. As Fitz just trying to keep this charge, right? Teams have such a great idea of how much damage this Sojourn's putting down, how charged, and rail. This is right off the side of his head there.
Probably not quite calibrated by the looks of things. Mikey making the dive in here, trying to catch Fitz out, but he's able to dash away pretty comfortably here. Proper in a decent position now. Able to set up that disruptor shot, but Fitz rounds the corner and plugs him one. And Striker falls not long after. Oh dear. This is a stinker from San Francisco to start us off.
And I don't know if it's actually like, okay, so obviously the Shock don't look great right now, but this looks more like the SEOUL Dynasty I thought we would see. Like, personally, I thought when you start to hear about the meta, I actually thought SEOUL Dynasty was like gonna be like one of the best teams, if not the best team here. They have the players to do it in this meta. And for some reason, the winter bracket not able to do so, but here it's a fantastic start.
The match against the Fuel didn't exactly inspire confidence, so, but they're here to make up for that and build it back up. Striker spoiled for choice here, target-wise. He's never to find Stalker there, as Smurf had to play from the extremities of his bubble. He gets away with it pretty well. Eventually, though, Fitz being dragged down by Mikey. Might mean they want to pull out. Prophet actually goes for the Kitsune rush here. Anything but conservative from him all of a sudden. And the sound barrier is both expended. The Dynasty are really invested in maintaining point control.
Yeah, and Smurf's got Primal Rage. So you can keep this going here if you're the SEOUL Dynasty. This is going to be the Kitsune rush out of Finn here. And Mikey's going to end up getting the kill on a Prophet. You have some more damage coming down from Striker, but that's going to be the Primal from Smurf. They want to just try and extend this as much as possible, it seems. And you're going to get just the 50% there from SEOUL Dynasty. But man, they dumped a lot into trying to keep that going.
So Mikey's able to start this fight off here. There's a lot happening, of course, with the Kitsune rush. Means more bubbles, crucially, for the Winston. Such an important factor. Here's a Death Blossom, though. Striker taking the fight to the Dynasty before they have a chance to set their feet. Very nice looks here. The Shock want to do more of this. And give them the twinings, why don't you?
I mean, you did just get shut out for a whole round.
I'd be feeling some frustration.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I like that decision from the Shock, right? You know, the SEOUL Dynasty, although they just flipped the point, they have a lot of the momentum here. You get aggressive right around the corner, you go with that Death Blossom, don't give themselves an opportunity to set up some of these engagements.
Okay. The Shock have made their statement in more ways than one, apparently. Vindaim a little trailing behind the rest of his team here. It's going to be an overclock from Proper. The target-rich environment, but it's all about the connection, and Fitz strikes first. Prophet Suzu's himself, but Proper lines him up.
I mean, that is so risky. Finn actually finds Fitz in the back line. He actually goes on a little bit
Stalker.
of a flank. Yeah, I mean, you cannot get a Proper in a straight line there with a charge up rail, but this is still going. You still have players here. You know, it's just Smurf and Vindaim, and actually, you know, because Striker's alive, you can't push into that. You cannot just go face first into that Reaper.
SEOUL crucially flipped the point midway through that fight here, so even after a lost engagement, they're ahead for now in terms of percentage. This gets ugly, though. Mikey trying to use this corner to occlude himself somewhat.
And it's a Primal for nothing, though. I mean, you end up popping Primal here, you get nothing out of it.
Kitsune rush from both teams, man. Here they go. Proper is extremely low at the start of the fight. He's taken down. Here comes Stalker now, dancing among the yellow brick road. And he makes the connection on Mikey.
And you just see, with the Kitsune rush plus the DPS passive, right, which gives you, a little bit of a speed boost after getting a kill, reload speed. Like, Reaper just becomes a machine, man. As soon as he gets that...
Hang on!
Excuse me?
That is big.
That is very big.
5v4. Sojourn down for SEOUL. They've got to be feeling the pinch now. Prophet going to be prevented by the barrier for the time being, but Prophet's looking low. Oh my! Stalker descends upon Proper. And now Fitz has returned back to the fight. San Francisco need to find a way to even the numbers here. And they do. They bring Smurf down. Crucial kill as Primal Rage was expended there. Stalker's going to bubble in his way, and Striker be striking. I tell you what, Death Blossom in hand, no chance to use it. Vindaim's out to pick him off, and Fitz is playing from the extremities. SEOUL are at 99 here. Can they really finish the round? Surely not. They may have to concede this here, Matt.
Yeah, you're going to have to back up. You just had Vindaim there alive at the end. That is fantastic, though, for the Shock. You look, SEOUL Dynasty, nothing to work with coming into this fight. You have another one of those Death Blossoms, and maybe you can actually speed boost in and then get that sound barrier off, close the deal.
Vindaim just come back. He's going to be a little bit late. No speed boost for SEOUL to try and contest here, and that might have been a Suzu use already there from Prophet. It's looking dangerous. Striker is looking hungry. Sound barrier now as Vindaim has gone down. That's going to hurt the SEOUL Dynasty in a big way. Now they have to play from the extremities and hope for a pick, but Striker shuts him down. Prophet and Fitz fall to the Death Blossom, and now Smurf is next on the menu. Main course, appetizer, desserts. The Shock have had their meal.
Just a really back and forth round there between those two teams. Is you actually almost have it even in terms of no kills at this point, which is crazy considering SEOUL Dynasty shut them down in round one. Striker came alive though in a big way. I mean, they add him to this team, probably not even thinking that like Reaper would eventually become meta because he's just going to come out of nowhere. Probably thinking like, hey, you know, we can get him on Tracer or Sombra, right? But Striker's Reaper's actually been pretty good historically, you know, in the league. So they actually get, you know, obviously a big pickup, and then also on one of his better heroes.
San Francisco do well to take that round. A big part of it is Striker. Proper has had a quieter start to this map. 4 final blows, 9 gets. Getting focused very hard by SEOUL and struggling to find a safe pocket map.
And I think they realize, like, hey, if we focus down Proper, we know how much the Shock invest in that player. That we can maybe kind of win the game that way, but you can't ignore Striker. Like, Reaper is so strong right now.
Proper has many opportunities to still get back into this game. Good little bit of sight here. Fitz trying to make a little bit of a flank. That's shut down quickly by Mikey, but it gives up point contest position to do so. In he goes. Vindaim might be a target here, but Proper's keeping eyes on Fitz much of the time. He's very, very low, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey gets really weak.
Susan.
Oh, that's beautiful. That connects with just about everybody.
Proper goes back in, wants to get that extra pressure here. Down on the enemy Winston, and Mikey's able to find Vindaim first. Prophet now next to the menu, he's taken down. Here come the Shock.
Oh man, he comes right around the corner, finishes a few players up. And it's almost like a little bit of a bait, right? Mikey gets so low, he's able to get back to the rest of the team. The SEOUL Dynasty, they make the right decision. They're like, hey, this is our time to go, right? Smurf jumps in, the protection Suju, all the healing that comes after that brings everybody back to life. And you see the SEOUL Dynasty, they try and like back out a little bit, but they don't have any of those tools to disengage. They get caught.
Kitsune rush early, Prophet doesn't have one here. Still using railroads. And I guess the Dynasty able to disengage from that. The Shock may be hoping to catch someone really quickly, but they'd have to move deep into enemy territory to get a kill, but Fitz can do it from long range. There's no way to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, how do you fight this after that? You're the Shock. That's going to be the continuing rush. They actually just kite a lot of it. Oh, outside of Mikey, he jumps right face first into it. You have some kills coming in here towards the end, so it will be a flip for SEOUL Dynasty. So be 40, a little bit higher than 40% here for the Shock early on. The Shock do have that sound barrier though, and they have that overclock to come back in with a fast fight.
Smurf is having the lion's share of his team's kills so far. 12 final blows for 6. Next closest is Fitz behind him at 8. Big impact play, very Doucheway-esque. Actually, no one ever said that before. Overclock here for Proper map. Charges a little bit off that barrier. Still looking for Fitz, but hasn't been able to draw a beat on him so far. The sound barriers here, and Stalker's going to go down first in the front line. Dynasty respond with their own beat, but they're down to 4 players. Proper trying to get a bit of space, but here comes Smurf. He is looking scary.
How is he alive?
Clutch healing coming out there from Finn to keep him up. Eventually has to succumb. Vindaim gets involved. Now Fitz can peer in from the side. Yet another final blow from Vindaim. He's at 8 so far. Absolutely astounding. The Dynasty control the point right now, and the Shock are running out of gas.
Oh, Mikey's so low. It's going to be Fitz just turning the corner. And this is going to be a lot of point percentage there for the SEOUL Dynasty. And you know, that it's crazy. We're watching Proper, and he's getting juggled by Smurf. Smurf with insane like mechanical skill. As he's getting juggled, he actually hits Stalker, and Finn is actually able to finish it off. But you think they have turned it, but it's still not good enough.
Stalker's Death Blossom can't reach the Shock. They're actually able to kite it now. He's going to try and get away with Wraith Walk, but Fitz won't be his lucky. He gets cut down. Finally, Proper finds that key first pick. And that's more than enough to get the Shock back in striking distance here. They'll have to flip first, and there'll be a bit of a chase in percentage. But it's going to be a close finish.
Yeah, not able to contest there at the end. You had Smurf and Prophet still alive at that time, so you're going to have to wait for Smurf to come back. Do you try and maybe catch them off guard with a continuing rush? You both have them, so you expect kind of like, if you're going to use it, if you're the SEOUL Dynasty engaging, you're going to maybe even have the Shock use it. You know, maybe back off for a second, let them get close to taking the point, then come in.
Continuing rush here. Finn actually dashes forward to try and make sure it's in a good spot. Prophet doing the same. Proper getting pressured heavily by Smurf, who now has to back away. Here's the sound barrier. Vindaim doesn't have one available. The Shock need to exploit this window, and so they do. They run over Stalker. Smurf has to get away to the point. The Shock looking to win 2 consecutive fights here. With Vindaim being brought down, Striker almost losing that battle against the Kiriko. The Shock can now reset, try and win the round here.
Yeah, it's a huge sound barrier there from Violet. As you come back, you may not actually even get that sound barrier here for Seoul Dynasty. You have Primal to extend this. You know, Smurf's life, you don't have to focus as much on keeping him up. And Fitz has his overclock. He's got to be big, and it's huge.
He walked right in when Striker was trying to go for the Mega Health Pack. Not respecting Fitz's ability to pick him up, and Mikey gets there, and where's the touch?
Oh, no.
Smurf just getting there, but just a little too late. San Francisco gets shut out of the first round. 0 final blows. They turn the map around, and they come out with an early lead.
And I think actually Smurf uses a leap there to try and get close to the point, and Violet's like in a position where he just knocks him off course. And he tries to use that second leap and like get around the corner, and he like may have like flipped the corner and not able to make it. Because you see everybody on the shock looking at Violet, everybody all smiles on stage.